Zahir Zubair, welcome to My Corona.
Thank you. How are you, Martin?
I'm doing great. Why don't we start by you talking a little bit about yourself, your background, and what venture you're doing right now?
Sure. So I have been in technology, software in particular, for 30 years now. I stopped counting, I think, at 25. But yeah, so it's been great. Technologies has evolved, shifted, things have changed, environments have changed, and how we work has changed, especially in the last few weeks. It's been insane. I
Yes.
also have been heavily involved in real estate and construction, basically doing stuff on houses, fixing them, making them look different, applying creativity and taking down walls where appropriate, and really making things more livable, more comfortable for people. So, from a you know um, engagement perspective on what I'm working on just recently from an IT or a software perspective, joined a company called GoGuardian. I'm running their PMO and IT. GoGuardian makes software for schools. We help teachers teach effectively using technology in their classrooms, and we also help schools filter out bad content for students. We actually also are using data science to predict or to understand if students are looking at content that could potentially harm them. So things like people looking to harm themselves, potentially committing suicide. If there's content that they're looking at that leads to that, we sound the alarm bells for the school so they can provide help for the student. It's a pretty exciting time, pretty exciting company. Our services are needed even more given that everybody is at home, students are at home, teachers are at home, and they're trying to teach at afar.
That's a lot to digest, but what what I understand, what I'm getting is that your company has software for distance learning and being able to learn via your computer, and you're doing that, and all of a sudden coronavirus happens, and everyone needs that.
Yeah. So yeah, our software is usually was applicable in teaching in class in school, but because it's all about technology and how you manage students that are using Chromebooks or laptops, learning in classroom, we can now apply the same technology, the same software to learning at home rather than in a physical classroom. So yeah, it's way in demand. So it's amazing. We're actually giving our software away for free till the end of the school year so that schools can really enable their students to learn in these crazy times of ours.
Well, that's very cool. Okay, so what the way it used to work is you'd have a teacher with a class of however many 25 students in it. They all had Chromebooks, and the lesson was they were all in the same room, but they would follow along on their computers. Now there's the added complexity of the teachers in their own home, the students are in their own homes, but it's the same basic software. Have you had to add any features or?
Yeah. So recently, as of last week, actually, we added a chat feature in our software. And based on all the reviews and the usage we've been looking at, usage stats, the chat feature is the heaviest used feature in our software. So students and teachers are really communicating effectively through chat. Many of them are also using Zoom in classrooms and various other tools. But yeah, our software really helps the teachers understand what the student's looking at, what websites they're going to, are they focused on their education, are they getting diverted, and then how do we bring them back into focus?
They can use Zoom in concert with your software.
Yes.
Well, that's cool. Um, yeah, man, I have like a zillion questions for you. So tell me about what is it like adapting to all of a sudden everyone wants what you got, and you got to shift real quickly for IT and for projects. I'll bet you're busier than ever before, right?
Yeah, I mean, our engineering teams are busy producing new features. We are looking at our roadmaps and figuring out what's best for uh, teaching at a far at home where students are at home and teachers are in their homes. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of features that we initially were, that makes sense, but maybe later. Now those features are getting pushed up. Yeah, it's a pretty exciting time for us.
Well, the thing I wonder, a lot of what I see around us is how many things were we doing because we always did it that way, right? Schools were built around the agrarian way of life. And so that's why we had 2 months off, and the time off was so that the kids could help the parents with a farm and go off. So many of the rhythms we've all built around is like that. There's the old cliche about how the roads in cities, 1,000-year-old cities and like London, were just the cow paths that then got paved over. And unless you've got a newer city that was planned, it's just that your road is where the cows used to walk, right?
Yep.
um, so this is an opportunity. We're going to see some of the things. Maybe there are some opportunities to do schooling better and learning better.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities. Really, there's so much change in a household now with students being at home, even my fellow coworkers that are at home trying to, work through video conferencing and so forth. Um, they're going a little crazy. They're like, kids are at home. I can't concentrate. They're coming to my office. They're in my video. Things are really evolving from a home life perspective, from teaching students at home. I think some of the things will never go back to the way they were, just because we're going to get used to certain things being in a certain way. I'll give an example in construction. I had a roof done actually last week, and the contractor had to get a sign off from the city for the permit. Well, the inspectors from the city are not coming out to properties anymore. They're doing FaceTime with the contractor, and the contractor is showing them, in this case, the roof project, and then they're signing off virtually. So they're actually doing all this remotely. Now, will this ever go back to the inspector coming out and actually looking at stuff? Maybe, but maybe for certain things they won't do it anymore that way. They'll just do FaceTime because they'll save on gas, driving around, being more effective, getting more work done. I think things are going to change after Corona
Yeah.
permanently.
Yeah. Well, I think, having worked in a lot of different large company environments, I was working for one big healthcare company, and you're in an office with, I don't know, 1,000 other people in that office, and everyone's basically sitting in video conferencing software where they're sharing the information, and then there was a problem with the building, and it had to be evacuated for some renovations. And I was more productive at home, and it was the same exact day, basically from 8:30 in the morning till 5:30 at night. I was in at least one conference call at a time. There were some times I logged into one on my phone and another one on the computer because I had to be at two meetings at once, and it was just, like that. So I think there's a lot of things that we're going to change. We're going to see are necessary or not necessary.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things that's amazing about you, though, is you see the opportunity in in adversity. Um, what are your thoughts about, like, what are the opportunities to change things that or opportunities for business in our current environment?
Yeah, as I was mentioning, right, things that we're doing from distance now, staying at home or staying in the office and not going out to do inspections, and various other things. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity in adding to that as we get back to normal, when we get back to normal. There's a ton of opportunity in building software, in building tools that enable inspections to happen remotely. There's a lot of other opportunities around, getting a home sanitized, right? We never thought about getting somebody in our house once a month potentially to sanitize our home. We used to use cleaners. Now we have professional people coming in to sanitize our homes. There's so much opportunity for both software and um, industry, construction and home life industry to really expand and look at new ways to protect ourselves and new ways to do business from afar. It's going to take us to the next level.
Well, yeah. Well, one of the things that I'm wondering about is, in the software revolution, you can use the best app, right? There's no the way that Google and Apple and the big companies, a lot of them got rich, is they came up with a great idea, and everyone can use that idea. You don't, you know, like, um, you can use the best, and there's, if I'm using an app, that doesn't mean you can't use that same app. In education, there was more of a competition between, let's say, one good school versus a less good school, because they had the better teachers. But you know, with your experience now, um, do you find that some of the programs that you offer are more popular than others, and to what extent are you able to leverage the best and the brightest to be able to teach more students? Do you see those opportunities?
Yeah, I think personal attention is important, teacher to student, right? And there's going to be opportunities where potentially teachers can teach more students using software like ours and various others, right? But the key is going to be what they're teaching, are students paying attention in their environment, and so I think as we mature, teaching from afar, and universities have been doing this, but as we mature, teaching from afar from kindergarten through 12th grade students, how do we make sure the students on track, they're engaged, they're focused in their learning, and the teachers are providing them with content that makes sense for them. So the teachers have to actually be more involved in their students' education to make sure if a student learns using video versus reading text on a page, they have to figure out how to enable each student and make sure that they are focused in what they're actually doing. So
Okay.
yes, there may be more opportunity for really good teachers to teach more students, but they're going to have to figure out how each student learns and apply that learning to them.
Yeah. So, shifting gears a little bit, what are you doing to keep yourself sane?
Yes, that's kind of crazy. Been cooped up in the house, and you know, was driving me batty, and so I figured, why not drive around town? I drive to work roughly 1 hour one way, so 2 hours a day is my driving routine when I'm going to the office. So I just got in my car at 7 o'clock in the morning before all my meetings, and I started to drive aimlessly. And it really gave me an opportunity to think about work, think about things that I needed to do. It was almost meditation. So it's wild that missing driving. Who would have thought that, right? And the fact that driving will enable me to be more effective in my daily life was something that I was looking forward to, and now I'm doing it every now and then. So it's really cool. I think another thing that I implemented at work was a stand-up for my team every day. We did meetings once a week, maybe twice a week as a team, um, but now we're doing a quick half an hour daily stand-up at 9 a.m. And it really synchronizes the team we use Hangouts, so we have video enabled, giving that facial expressions, seeing the person, understanding understanding what we're doing on a daily basis, helping each other in that, has really brought the team together almost more than when we were at the office. So so from a personal perspective, driving has been interesting, a great sort of stress relief slash focus. And then these daily stand-ups with video have been great to connect with my team members, to actually see them in their home environment, to understand what pain they're feeling or how they're feeling personally. It's been awesome.
Well, the funny thing is, like, you reminded me, I hadn't thought about this in years, but when I was a little kid and gas was really cheap, my dad would say, "Hey, on a, on a Sunday," he said, "Let's go for a drive," and we would go drive somewhere out. Eventually we, settle on some bagels and lox or ice cream or what have you, but it was just talk and drive, and we would talk things out, and there was something about it. Obviously now that's not in the gestalt the way it was, because driving, I'm sure you don't miss the traffic. You just miss the alone time when you have a particular, you can collect your thoughts, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Dislike traffic tremendously. The stop and go of it, and the crazy people trying to cut you off, and all that. Too much stress. But yes, just driving, and the only thing you have to contend with is red lights and green lights. Love it. right? It's amazing. Or get on the freeway and you're not in stop and go traffic and you're just driving at a casual 65. Yeah, that's really meditating.
Well, one of the things I found really strange, especially, for those of us, or the times in our lives where we've got a spouse or significant other who lives with us. There was one time when I went from one project to another. So I went from an hour commute to a 5 minute commute. And what could be more exciting than a 5 minute commute? You get out of your house, but you just basically walk and go somewhere. The thing I discovered was how much I use my commute to decompress and kind of be civil, so that by the time I come around the other side, my significant other isn't freaked out by what a jerk I am. Because as you know well, who I am at work and who I am at home are two different things, and I suspect that's the case for you as well, right?
Yeah, I think we're definitely way more professional at work, buttoned up. And then when we come home, if we haven't had a chance to decompress, we kind of bring some of that home, and it's not always good. So yes, driving could relieve you of that if you're not in stop and go traffic.
Yeah.
Sometimes stop and go traffic will kill you, right? You'll come home and you'll be more stressed than if you were, but if there's no traffic, heck, that's amazing.
I got to admit, I haven't gotten in my car in probably 2 weeks. I just walk to the grocery store and carry my stuff. But I will walk at least 30 minutes every day. Um, I've got the routine where it's been, I don't know, 1,100 days where I exercise every day. And,
Wow.
and yeah, I mean, it was mostly by swimming, and now I'm doing it by walking, which isn't quite the same exercise, but working on not gaining any weight through this, not losing any weight, but you know how it goes.
I remember you had an app that kept track of all this.
It still does. I still do. So I was using the Apple Watch and the thing, and actually, the reason I don't know exactly how many days is I went for, I think, 977 days in a row, and then the watch broke.
No,
So
no.
yeah, so yeah, I went a week where it just wasn't recorded. I did my same routine, so it's it's well over 11,000 days, but not 11,000, 1,100. I'm not that good, but
11,000 would be pretty amazing.
but
That's
it's
the goal.
I've been doing this for 3 years now, so
Wow.
yeah,
That's amazing.
so it's cool. But walking is a must, because you get a chance to do some of the same things you're doing. So if you don't drive, you should do something else.
Yeah, for sure.
So what about social? I know you're also a very social person. How are you keeping up with your social commitments?
Yeah, I mean, I think social is tough, right? With my mom, visits once in a while, given all the stuff, and she's older. We're
Is
wearing
she
face masks. Go ahead, sorry.
is she going back? She's not working anymore, or is she
Um, she's working
volunteering?
part time, but she has decided not to work in this time where Corona is rampant.
Well,
Um,
she's definitely in the risk age, and
yeah,
yeah,
being an MD, she has yeah, she's definitely also in a risky profession.
yeah.
But yeah, so when she comes over to the house, we're all wearing masks. Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's kind of weird. It's who would have thought we would have been in this space with social interactions? Um, we used to think, Instagram and all these other social media avenues were bad, right? You're spending too much time on Instagram, on Facebook, on all these other things, and now that's the way of life. So it's really crazy how society has changed from 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks ago to now where we are, where social media is the way you actually connect with people.
Well, the interesting part of it is I used to I've been doing video conferencing since it came out, but that's just for the work people. I've never done that with my friends, but now you come realize everyone's got Zoom, everyone connects, and I'm doing a lot of the social gathering by Zoom.
Yeah,
Does
it's
get the same
pretty
facial
crazy.
thing? Yeah, could do a little family meeting by Zoom, right?
Yeah, and people living in different countries and so forth, right? If family, you could actually have Zoom sessions with 5, 6, 7 family members at a time, and it's gonna be interesting. My family didn't do that before, but now, given where we are, and it's even, you could even have better relationships doing Zoom and other tools than just a phone call.
Yeah. So I know that you got to get going, but is there something you'd like to share with the audience before you go?
Yeah, no, I think we're going to come out of this. We're going to come out of it fine. It may take a while, but we'll all be back in some sort of routine. Things will change for us moving forward. I think it's always good to see the bright side of life. As you pointed out, there'll be new opportunities in a variety of different areas, and we should take advantage of that and make life better for ourselves, but also our fellow humans. So I think that's my parting message. Let's figure out the bright side and everything.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining, and till next time.
Thank you, Martin.
All right. Take care.